Alright class, so in today's video I'm just going to review some of the tools that we covered the past week or so. Some of the tools include obviously the basics, so being aware of where your toolbar is located, being aware of where to find tools if they're not open. Remember, you can change your setup, so you can go to painting if you're working in painting. You can go to like essential tools that you need. Now this is my version of Illustrator on my computer is different from yours, so I don't have Essentials Classic. Mine is just the Classic version. So you can also change it back to what it previously looked like. You can find your layers and the other tools under Window, right? You have your Move tool, your Direct Selection tool we went over. We did not go over any selection tools for this as of yet, but we did go over pen tool, type tools, shape tools, blob, paintbrush, eraser, rotation tools, transformation tools, gradient tool, blend tool, and obviously colors and so forth. So really quickly, I'll try to get through all of these. So shape tool, pretty self-explanatory. We've been using it for a while now. You should know that you can change the color of your shape in your color swatches here. The left swatch will fill it. The right swatch will change the outline of it. You can change the thickness of the outline. You can change the shape of the outline, the form of the outline. If you don't want an outline around a shape, you can just turn that off, right? Very simple. Then we have all different types of shapes you can create. Remember in the video, with the robot, the man was talking about like using the points inside of shapes to round edges or change the shape even further. And as the last button popped up, you can also go in and change specific sides of your shape or size and so forth. So that's the shape tool. You can also create shapes using your pen tool, right? So I said if you have like a custom shape that you want to create, you can use the pen tool. By just clicking and letting go, it's going to create a linear line, like a straight line, a line segment. So your pen tool, when you're creating your shape, has points and it has line segments attached to each point. And wherever you start, you must end. So if I started here, I must end here. You can see that little circle pop up. That means that I'm kind of closing up that shape. All right. I can also change the shape and customize it further, clean it up more using the Direct Selection tool. By clicking and letting go, it will acknowledge that you want to move that point. Okay, and then I can move the point in any direction that I need to. I can also use my pen tool to delete anchor points or add more anchor points if I wanted to add another point to this shape. All right, although you really want to make sure you're on that. The reshape tool will actually create an anchor point with anchor bars on it to curve a side. So let's say you created like this linear shape and you wanted to add a curve to it. You can add a point too, and it will kind of push and change the shape and add that anchor bar to that shape. You can also use your pen tool to create curved lines and straight lines together. So to create a curved line, you're going to click and drag so anchor bars pull out from and then let go, and then you're going to have that nice angle or curve that you're trying to create. And I can also add straight lines to it as well. So if I wanted to have like a straight edge somewhere, now I can click and not pull the anchor bars out, and it's going to create a straight edge. But then clicking and dragging will create that nice curved line. So you can really create some nice shapes. This is a great tool to use for logo design. Most of the logos that you see that are created with shapes are probably created in this program using the shape tool. So your anchor bars will also customize the shape further. Right. So that is your shape tools. Okay. You also have I'll go over lines separate too. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these, and then I'm going to go over a few others. So your paintbrush, you have your paintbrush tool. Just make sure that you're aware of the difference between the paintbrush and the blob brush, right? So the paintbrush is a line. The blob brush is really a shape. So when you click on the paintbrush, you can see that there's a line segment that runs through that paintbrush. So when I move my anchor bars, it's going to move the actual line itself and change it. Where the blob tool is great for filling in shapes. So you can see that when I click on it, the line segments run around it. So if I wanted to change the line direction, I really can't. It's just going to change the shape of that. So just to be aware of that when you're working with those tools. Obviously know that with your blob and paintbrush, you have your eraser that can erase all of those pieces. All right. I didn't really go over that with you guys yet, which is fine. The next, and you know what, I'm going to kind of skip over type tool for a second and just quickly go over gradient and blend. So just remember that, you can have two shapes. Well, let's just do gradient for a second. Okay. I can create a gradient on my shape, all right, and then I can open up my gradient bar, and if I didn't open it from here, I can open it from here as well, okay. And I can customize the gradient further, so it's very similar to Photoshop, but it's actually like placed on the shape, and also you can see it here on the tool itself, right? So you can change it here or here. You can change the rotation of it. You can actually move the bar up and down. It does not have to stay centered. I don't know why mine is right now staying centered, but it doesn't have to. You can change it from linear to radial. You can change the color of it by clicking on the tabs. Right now it's black and white. Mine is, but if I change it to CMYK, now I have a color scale that I can work with now. Or you can pick from color swatches. Blend tool is a pretty cool tool for creating just three-dimensional shapes or blending colors together in a background if you wanted. So let's say I had two colors that I wanted to blend together. Okay. Say these two. What I'm going to do is select both of the shapes by dragging over them, and using my blend tool by clicking on each of them will create a blend throughout. And remember yesterday we talked about making sure there's no outline on it. Then using my direct selection tool, I can actually change the shape, okay, if I wanted to. But really what's cool is that I can click and let go of the points hanging, the anchor points and line segment, pulling them together, and I can actually move the shape, right, which is a pretty cool effect. All right, so that's the blend tool. And then type tool. Type tool works very similar to, obviously, Photoshop, where you can change the color, you can add an outline to it, you can change the opacity, the type of font that you're using, the size of it, the alignment of it, you can transform it. You can change the paragraph format. Character would be like the spacing, point size, if you want to make something bold, italicized, underlined. So again, very similar to Photoshop, just in different places. All right, so just familiarize yourself with that. The really cool thing about the pen tool too is that it comes in all these different directions. So there's assortment of ways that you can set it up. And you can also use your pen tool to create line segments or paths to write on. So right now, if you look at this text here, there's one line segment that was created and a point to create this, to create the word, right? I can create my own if I wanted to. So if I wanted it to be like on a diagonal, I can use the pen tool to do so. And I know that I have this like extra line segment hanging out, but if I click on my type tool, it'll go away. And you can be specific about what you'd like to do with it. So I'd like to type on a path tool. So you can see that it changes it to that curvilinear like slash running through the cursor, and by placing it on the path, it's going to allow you to write on that line segment. Right? I can click and let go, and I can actually move it right in any direction that I would like to. You can use your lines to draw lines, but you can also use them to write on top of too. So if you wanted to have, oops, I don't want to do that. So if you wanted to write around a spiral, I can write on this path, and it will write around that spiral. Right? I'm not sure how much that will pertain to you with your Google Doodle, but it will definitely benefit you when we work further. The last tool that I'm going to go over with you is the filling in text inside of a shape. So I can create any shape that I want, and I can actually take the area type tool, and you can see that the cursor turns into a circle, and by clicking on the path, it will type inside of. And that is pretty much all I really wanted to go over with you. The only other tools that you can kind of play around with on your own, and I can help you, would be like just make sure you understand like how to rotate your tools. You could play around with some of the warping tools. And that's it. So if you have any questions, I will be here for you.